So, namaste and welcome to this discussion on artificial intelligence and the future of programming, disruption, opportunities, and evolution. I'm Dr. Vivek Modi, and I have a distinguished panel here, which consists of Senior Professor of Computer Science and Head of the Department, Professor S. Prabhanjan.
Yeah, hi.
He's presently at Jyoti Institute of Technology, Bangalore. He's HOD and professor, and comes with a very distinguished career in research in field of computer science and teaching. We have Prasanna Kumar S from Technical Marketing Product Management at IP Infusion from Bangalore. Again, he comes from the background in computer science, and he also has done his certificate program from IIT Delhi in product development and management. Our third distinguished panelist is Ratnesh Deepak. Ratnesh is a director in Demazi Technology. He's a founder, an entrepreneur. He's a IIT Kharagpur alum, and he is BTech in mechanical engineering and now working as a director and an entrepreneur in Demazi Technology. We have Sri Ramakant Das, a veteran of computer science. He has more than 30 years of experience in handling school education, the computer education in school. So we have, and last but not the least, we have Vinay Modi. He's the founder and the partner of Acharya.ai. He's masters in artificial intelligence from University of Edinburgh and comes with a very rich experience in the field of artificial intelligence and machine learning. So, with
Hi
this
everyone.
short intro of our distinguished panelists, I once again welcome all the people in the guest. I request you to please stay muted. You could still switch on your camera, but please stay muted till we complete our first round of discussion. And later on, we'll be certainly taking certain questions from you. So, with that, let's start with our first round, where I request all our distinguished panelists to make their opening remarks, and they could also give a 30-second intro, which I was not probably equipped enough to give a good intro. So let's start with Vinay. Vinay is, as I told, founder of Acharya.ai, and he has organized this program, this event. So thank you, Vinay. Over to you.
Hi everyone. Good evening. I am Vinay. As Vivek has already introduced, I'm partner at AcharyaAi. I specialize in AI trainings and AI-enabled software development. With over 18 years in the AI field, I have worked on projects in predictive analytics, information retrieval, speech, natural language processing, semantic web. I hold a bachelor's in computer science engineering and a master's in machine learning and biorobotics. Thank you.
So thank you, Vinay. Let's listen from Professor Prabhanjan Saukar, sir. Sir, if you could just give a 30-second intro and then your, of course, opening remarks on the topic.
Okay. Hi. I am Dr. Prabhanjan, head of the Department of Computer Science, Jyoti Institute of Technology, Bangalore. I have around 27 years of experience in academia. I worked in various colleges like Don Bosco, Jain University, then Pradar Institute of Technology. Now, presently, I'm working at Jyoti Institute of Technology. I'm presently guiding around 6 research scholars and nearly some 60 MTech projects I have guided. My area of interest is in image processing and machine learning and compiler design. These are the areas where I'm presently working. And I'm mainly working now in administrative purpose. This one, because I'm the HOD of computer science, mainly an administrative. And also, my always interested in teaching. I'll always take one class compulsory because I'm always interacting with the students. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And it's a privilege to have you. Thank you so much for sparing your time with us. Now, let me go to Sri Ramakant Das, a veteran of computer science. Sir, your intro and opening remarks as well.
Namaste and good evening to everyone. Thank you, Vinay for having me in this panel. I am Ramakant and in computer science education, school level, for since 32 years. I have visited so many schools in my career while under training for giving them training or other purposes. So I can, while we are talking about SWOT analysis, the strength and weaknesses of AI. So my point of view will be focused on school education. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the opening remarks and your presence here again. Let's hear from Ratnesh Deepak, very exciting career at Kharagpur, and then working at various companies and as a CTO, and now again in the role of an entrepreneur. Would love to hear from you, Ratnesh. Over to you.
Hello everyone, I'm Ratnesh, and as Vivek mentioned, I'm currently working as like founder and CTO at Demazi Technology, CEO. So it's like entrepreneur journey. So you take all different hats. So here we are building like ERP for schools currently. A product name is School Navi.
Ratnesh, if you don't mind, could you be a little louder?
Yeah. So prior to this, I was working with Workplace Fabric, where we were working with embedded systems like building sensors as well and building AI intelligence in the software side and like edge computing side. So yeah, and prior to that, I had some AdTech experience. So like different fields I have worked in with different companies, and then currently working again on the SaaS side of the software building. So yeah, I think my opening remark on the topic will be that in all these years, like 17 years of working with building software for hardwares and like cloud, what we have seen is that a lot has changed, but the fundamentals remains unchanged. Like you still need to have those problem solving skills, and those it seems like it will stay the same way. So yeah, I think with that I will start the discussion so that we can proceed. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ratnesh, and welcome to the panel again. And last but not the least, let's hear from Prasanna Kumar. Prasanna, over to you for your opening remarks.
Yeah, thanks, Vivek. Thanks to Vinay for having me in the panel. My most of the career is in programming. So past 18 years, I have been programming from software engineer to senior technical architect, right? So we have programmed and we have guided many people and we have handled a lot of teams. And recently, like past 1.5 2 years, I switched my role to the product management and the technical marketing. Okay. So with that background, so my perception about AI is that, it's a tool and we should use it wisely. Okay. And it is a power tool in our toolbox. It's not just a small tool, it's a powerful power tool, right? Which can do the work in a shorter time. But again, it is our intelligence to use it where and how it relies on us. Okay. And it cannot do all the work. It can help us, but we have to do the final work. We should use it, but we should also develop our own skills to use it. So let's have a further good discussion on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Prasanna. That was crisp and to the point. Fundamentals never change, and I'm sure everybody would agree to that. So thank you so much for all of you for your opening remarks and presence once again. Now let's get into the discussion. As our today's topic suggests, disruption is one thing, opportunities is one thing, and evolution is one thing. So let's take our discussion in the same way. One thing everybody is discussing nowadays, and I would like Professor Prabhanjan sir to for his views on this. That AI is disrupting, jobs would go, and people's at one stage people tend to be very excited about it, but at another stage there is a lot of fear of losing job, and even the professors and teachers, because I deal with a lot of them, they are a bit scared that students are now getting everything from AI. So how do you see that kind of disruption, and what kind of opportunities and possibilities you see, sir?
Yeah, as just now Prasanna told, okay, mainly need to concentrate mainly on problem solving skills. Okay, we have to use AI as only a tool. Okay, then only we can able to do our job faster. Example, when we are students, okay, most of the faculties are using chalk and board for teaching. Later, we have started using PPTs. Now, using AI tool, we can able to prepare the PPTs much faster. Okay, we can able to utilize our experience for teaching now. That is what. Now, and because as we know that most of the institutions are going for accreditation and a lot of document work we need to do it. In order to make that faster, in that case, we can able to utilize our AI tools. That is what advantage for us. Then one more is, for example, earlier days, we now to solve a problem. In order to explain the program in the lab, first we need to write a program, we have to execute, we have to check how the results are getting. But now using AI tools, we can able to write the program in different ways, and we can able to explain the students in much better way than earlier days, what we are teaching. That is how we can able to utilize AI tools in an efficient way. That is what we need to do it. Not only for student, but what we want is students should not utilize until they become strong in fundamentals. Then later, if they use that tools, how they can use that tool, make their work much faster, then it will be much better. That is what my opinion. And for a researcher also, it is helping a lot of things. Earlier days, to publish one paper, we need to work at least for 6 to 7 months. But nowadays, within a week or within a 1 month, we can able to publish a paper in a good journal. That is what the advantage of AI tools, what we are using now.
So basically, what you're suggesting is students and teachers both, they must focus on building their fundamental skills and use
Yes,
AI as a tool.
tool. Yes, definitely.
Right, sir. Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
Let's get to Vinay. Vinay, what are your views? I would just put the same question to what I asked Prabhanjan. What are your views? Because you come from a different perspective, you could share.
Right, as Professor Prabhanjan has very rightly described the problem and the what to do, I have a take on from the industry perspective that several times when we ask, for example, somebody is good at writing a prompt, the AI tools will give you the solution. AI tools will create the code that you are that you have asked. But the responsibility comes to us to check whether that code is doing what we want. Number one, I will give a couple of examples that I have seen that how the AI tools are giving the results. And if I use those results blindly, it can actually destroy the lot of software that we have created. For example, if somebody asks the AI tool, you take any AI tool, ChatGPT, Cloud, or Copilot, and you ask the tool to write a function to do web scraping. It will create a web scraping. It will write the web scraping function. When you execute it, it will start scraping the sites, but very soon you will encounter that your IP address is blocked because it did not code the rate limiting. Now, as a person coming from the industry, I can say that there are certain aspects from the legal side, from the development side, certain concepts that needs to be aware of. We can't just blindly depend on the AI tools. I give you one very recent examples that I personally faced. We have a project portal on which we maintain a wiki, and we document all our processes, all the configurations that we have written for our software. So I asked the AI tool to write the documentation for one of the Docker Compose file. So we have a very large Docker Compose file. So I asked it to write the documentation so that we can keep it in the wiki, and the other users can look at the wiki and start using that Docker Compose file or start changing wherever it required. That tool gave me very nice documentation, everything fine. It gave me certain commands, also basic commands that the developer should use to run the Docker, take the Docker down and all that. And then suddenly I saw that it wrote a command, Docker compose down -v. And I was surprised that if somebody does -v and he is using a named volume in the Docker compose, it can actually wipe out the, let's say if you are hosting a database, it can wipe out your entire database just by one command. And so this kind of mistakes, if the person is not aware of the basic concepts, what happens because of these tools using blindly, it can do serious damage. Coming from the AI side, machine learning side, I give one example. When somebody asks to write a certain algorithmic part to ChatGPT or Claude, it gives the code. But sometimes, in fact, not sometimes, majority of times I have observed that the matrix multiplication alignment is not proper. So you give your data set, it has a certain dimension. Your algorithm is doing the training part. During the training, the matrix multiplication is going to happen, and then the matrix dimensions are not matching. And the code, what the Claude or ChatGPT has written, it looks on the surface that everything is fine, logically everything looks good, but when you give the code, when you give the data, it certainly says that the matrix is multiplication not possible. Now, if you are not aware of that, how the matrix multiplication happens, what is the role of those dimensions, it's almost impossible to debug and fix that code. You keep on asking ChatGPT, it will keep on repeating the same code. So there are fundamental things from the industry perspective. I say that when we start using these AI tools, it is very important to know that what the tool is generating. So for now, I think this much should be enough to add to what the Prabhanjan sir has said.
Thank you. I think those are very apt examples, and especially for those who comes from programming background, I'm sure it drove the point what professors are already made, that we need to know the fundamentals, we need to understand. I see a lot of people, because I'm a medical doctor, and a lot of people ask ChatGPT to behave like a doctor and get a lot of answer. And I can very much relate to you that how sometimes blunders come out of it. So if you don't know, it may be right most of the times, but once it is wrong, it can be really, really bad. So that's a point I think very well taken. Let me move to Prasanna. Prasanna, you have been into technical marketing. Uh, how do you see role of AI is evolving in your industry? And if you'd like to share any experience to kind of let people know, how does it impact?
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Vivek. So in technical marketing, so we end up, our job needs actually writing new blogs on the topic we have to write. So it might be sometime what happens is that the topics we might not be having expertise on it, but we know the basic knowledge of it. But we have to write the blog on that to, to say that, this feature has come, or these are all the new features. This is how fitting in the industry. This is how, it's also a use case. So all that we need to write. So we will come up with a basic idea of, what we should write, and what is the sequence of flow it should happen. So all that we will have in our mind, and we will start writing it. But it might look sometime very pale. And if we want to really add perceptions and different marketing terminologies. For example, I'll write a paragraph, right? So if I want to present it in a marketing way, right? So then I can give that paragraph to ChatGPT, and I can ask that, can you make it beautify it and give a different perception? So it can give n number of perceptions to it and n numbers of reorganizing the same content, so that you can pick up a one which is very beautiful to you. All right. So it can write the full blog altogether if I keep on feeding the content. Okay. But what happens is that it very pale and it becomes so technical that the story is out and it looks like an RFC again. Okay, so again, so we have to actually carefully take it. And I would definitely agree with Prabhanjan sir that publishing has become faster because of this, that it can help and give you lot of steps and lot of contents. And it also follow the standard methodology of publication, like what should come first and what should come in the middle and what should come in the next, right? So it follows all that and it gives us very basic framework. Okay, then we have to beautify it very properly with the right content and with the right methods what we want to promote it. So in that way only it can be possible. Definitely human touch and our expertise and our field knowledge is definitely required to add to it. But yeah, AI is definitely helping in this. So we should go both the ways. So we should take the help as well as we should put our own efforts to make it beautified. So that's what I would say that in terms of technical marketing. Thank you.
Right, Prasanna. Thank you for that. So, what one point I get from this initial discussion is like AI can be very, very helpful. It could be probably a force multiplier in solving many problems, but it is not a complete replacement at all. So, people should probably use it to increase their capability to do work in a better and more efficient way, and rather than worrying about what will happen to me, that kind of disruption. Just stick to the fundamentals, understand what it's doing, and then use it as your servant, if I may use
If I
that
have
term.
to give one example for that, right? So we have router products, right? So where we have millions of lines of code which is getting executed. Okay. So we cannot ask ChatGPT to write all that content. It is definitely not possible. And I cannot keep experimenting that, okay, take this use case, take this condition generated, take this condition generated. It is not possible. I can ask for a small chunk of the code and I have to revalidate and I have to make sure that it definitely fits into my existing code. And it can do some of the UT because it knows that that given function is having a required number of parameters as an input and some output. Definitely any tool can do an UT for that a small function. Okay. But what are all the cases it needs to take care, like a business logic or the application logic? So all that again we need to bring, because it is not the generic code which will solve the problem. Okay, in that case we can take a lot of code from the GitHub. It is available. Okay, so it is picking up something from the GitHub and then it is giving. So not all generic code will solve everyone's problem. So it is giving a samples of code which we can utilize, or it will also give a different perception that what and all conditions to be taken care. So we can do all that with the help of AI. But again, when it comes to our own logic, we are responsible to feed it properly and we are responsible to code it properly. And I just cannot say that because AI generated, I cannot commit the code, because the ownership still lies with me, right? So it is difficult to expect millions of lines of code or a product or an application for that sake. For example, it can generate a application. I can say that mobile application, everybody thinks that it is easy, right? But later, if you want to have a small corrections in that, it becomes very tough that you cannot regenerate every time. So one will go mad. So only smaller chunks we can take and do it. And if something, because nowadays what is happening in the programming is that it is not just the one language. So sometimes to execute a project, we might need help from different languages. And in that case, if we are not an expertise in a particular language, so we can take a small help of generating a small function. For example, I'm doing a C or C++ programming. I'm expertise in that. But if I want to write a script in the Python, right? So I might not be able expertise, but I'm able to read and understand logically. So I can ask generate particular script in the Python for a small functionality. So it will generate it and give it to me. Still, again, I should be able to debug it. I cannot take it blindly. I should be able to debug it. So that's how we should use the AI.
Yes. I think, again, those examples were very pertinent, and I'm sure all our viewers have got the perspective of what you wanted to share. Lovely. Let's get to Ratnesh. Ratnesh, you are providing solution to so many companies. What kind of skill set you think that programmers or future programmers should focus on, and how this field is shaping up? As an entrepreneur, you might be coming up from different kind of people. You may at one end might be recruiting people, another side you are deploying as it is required in your work. So, what are the key things you think programmers should focus upon?
Yeah. So, like in our experience of building software, one thing we have definitely seen that like with all the help that is available now, so we look at it as one era where Google was not there, Stack Overflow was not there, and then you were building applications. So it was purely that you have to first go through the entire chapter or entire book in order to start. Okay, then Google came in, and then it became like, okay, fine, you have something to code, so you broadly understand, and then you search on Google, you have reference available, and from there you can write code. And now we have the chat GPT and all the like uh, generative AI, where you specify the problem and it gives you a skeleton of the like solution. Actually, it doesn't give you complete solution always. Only when the problem is small, to the point, and you have only one problem to solve. In those cases, like we are getting answers that are like accurate. But in most of the other cases, like Prasanna was saying, that if you have a router and it has to look at various different aspects, it loses the context. Like it loses the context, and it will start ignoring various things which you fed in the beginning, and it will build something that again be novice. Okay, so what I'm saying is that in our organization here itself, as well as like previously, we started with writing code where everything was to be written by the developer. Then we switched on to frameworks, where framework did a lot of the boilerplate code. Then came like declarative programming, where you could just specify that I want this query to be run, and then how the connection is to be made to the database, and if everything is like taken care of by the framework and the declarative code. And now is the time when you can understand the application, you start with the skeleton, and then for each individual functions, you can take help from AI. Okay, AI is good at generating, like I have this sorting function to be done. Can you write like a bubble sort here? It will easily write that. You don't need to write all different variables and these things, and it will do that. It also has some good context on the current file, but when it comes to the entire application, it loses the context. So I think for future programmer, the responsibility doesn't change. Learning the basic is still something that you need to have. Understanding the
Right.
business requirement is something that you still need to have. Co-collaboration with like the a developer and the domain experts to build the application is still something that you need to have. Ethical considerations while you are building the application. Before doing the code commit, if you have to follow certain like procedures, those also you have to do. So there are certain aspects which is human, which like humans are very good at, and those are not changing really. Like as Prasanna said, that you still need to understand different languages to the basics. Like it will help you write some small function somewhere, but when it comes to building a complete application, it is still far away. Low code, no
Right.
code has done a lot, but I think the age where entire application will be just be talking to the computer and it will do it is still far away,
Far.
because as Vinay said, like if it does one mistake, then the entire thing is gone. So you ultimately are responsible for reviewing whatever it has produced.
Yes.
Reviewing
So I think
technology.
yes, very well. I think very succinctly, you have again presented one more scenario and the thing. So I think when we were discussing about disruption, people should probably take away from this, whatever short discussion came, that you need to know what it is. Probably the labor work can be given to the AI, a lot of labor work, which in chunks it can do. But the big picture, only you know. And that's your game to play. AI will come as a good servant which will help you. But you should know what work to get done from it, and you should know whether the work is right or not. If you can do that, there is no risk to it. So with that, we have a lot of people who are from non-IT background also. So and let me go to Shri Ramakant ji. Sir, you have been into school education for a long time. And now we have this evolution of AI. It's very rapidly growing. At the same time, there is a new kind of challenge with Gen Z. So Gen Z is children who are born after 1996. So they have again a different kind of attitude towards life. I mean, the life is not same as we have gone through our childhood. So, sir, how do you see the opportunities and challenges vis-a-vis Gen Z when it comes to the survival and thrival in AI world?
Thank you, Vivek ji. But before coming to this point, I must, I think the first question put to your Prabhanjan sir is still unanswered. So you still remains unanswered because the unemployment, you are talking about the population of India after coming coming of AI. Then what will be the employment rate? There will be lot of unemployment. I think the question was put. The first question was put in this way. But in that matter, I think we need not worry about what AI will affect to our employment ratio. Before sometime in banks or in any offices, so there were no computers at all. But when computers came to the offices, the same people learned how to handle with technology and how to operate. The workflow, the efficiency increased. The response, otherwise there were long queues in banks and other offices. So it will be the same people will switch they have no other option. They have to adopt AI because the era has transitioned occurred from IT to AI. So it is inevitable. There is no alternative way. We have to adapt AI. And research says that around 125 crores employment will be there, vacancies will be there in near future in 5 to 10 years. Even Microsoft has planned to foster our framework, basic framework for to support AI, and for that they are also ready to train 10 million people in India. The government has taken already that assignment. So we are now changing over to AI. But thing is, AI related fields will more vacancies in coming time. We cannot just say that we are already adapted to the traditional way of teaching or traditional way of thinking. If a student in school or class, they are trained in a way that you have to do this, solve this solution in this approach. But we are not making him free to think of its own. So what happens now? Due to the Macaulay framework of teaching, so we are not, if we'll allow him to think of its own, So maybe the right that the problem solution way is different from the traditional way or the conventional way, but that is his own innovation. That is his own method. We have to anyhow encourage that your scientific thinking and creativity for that innovative ideas should come from the students. AI has unlocked limitless possibilities for students. So enabling them to explore, to create, um, rather than follow the same conventional approaches to uh, solve any problem. What I am seeing that India being the pioneer in leading software industry, Indian software industry is globally recognized position. But in case of AI, we are lagging behind. We have just witnessed how the release of DeepSeek from China affected OpenAI in America. So we are living in the competition. So we are lagging behind. So we have to adopt AI uh, in education from the basic level, primary level. Our National Education Policy 2020 focusing coding from the primary classes, but still it is a challenge to implement it fully implemented. So we have to think that the see how Ratnesh sir or Prasanna sir told. I was writing programs before 30 years in Fortran or COBOL very elaborately. Then came 20 to 12 methods to sort or search. There were 10 to 12 algorithms we have to learn. But in Python, just a function sort will do this. So why should I think of another 10 to 20 algorithms? If I can do it, I can very well to create its algorithm, to think of its algorithm. We are teaching it, but we need not worry if we are not using this part or that part. So AI will do it, but I should imagine something new, and the AI will produce it for me. That is the main
Right.
motto of this era, of this generation.
Right, sir.
Students are now have the ability of AI to the key success for their shortcut to the success. So they are utilizing it as a shortcut to the success. Even as they have said that human must be behind the every techniques. If as Vinay said, that it can crash anytime, anywhere, because it is depending upon the AI, depending upon the testing data, training data. But if some situation comes out of box, then what will be the situation? How it will behave? So who will ensure it? Only human. So learning AI is must in school level. So it must be being done. That is what I think now for the
Right,
time
sir.
being.
Right. So thank you so much. So from moving away from Macaulay system or framework of education to nurturing creativity, challenging them to solve problems, and then I think they can use AI for their advantage. Thank you so much, sir. Let me go to Vinay. Vinay, people who are working in programming and maybe in other maybe software testing and other field, what kind of tools they should learn? If there is somebody who is looking a career into AI, what would you suggest with your experience that what should they learn?
Yeah. So whether it's automated testing or people working in data analysis or some other areas of computational sciences, couple of things are very fundamental. See, the AI tools operate through certain interface. The interface could be speech enabled, could be text enabled, could be image enabled, that you are sharing the image and then it is giving you the response. So it is very similar to how we communicate with the other human. We use speech, we use text, we use images, sign languages, and so many things. So AI is also using those interfaces. Now, as in the human communication, human to human communication, the way we communicate, the way we present our idea, our whatever we want to communicate, requires a clarity. Similarly, when we communicate with the AI tools, the way we communicate, way we present what we want it to do needs to be very clear and crisp. Now, this becomes a challenge, especially if you are working on a longer project, complex project, because then your skills are at test, that how you are framing your problem. What are you communicating to the AI tool? So clarity there is very essential. So when you are coming for example, you want to enter into automated testing where AI tools will help in doing the testing. Suppose you have a open API document or Swagger document where all your API specifications are listed, and you want AI tools to create test cases for all of your APIs. Then in order to do that, what is required is understanding of that how the open API documents are generated. That is number one. That is the fundamental understanding of how the code actually functions. And second, how to use these AI tools so that the automation script can run. That is second part. Third, how to tell the tool at right time that what it has to do. This is more of like in the earlier time when the Microsoft had released its Office software, PowerPoint, Word, Excel, everybody was going to computer training institutes to learn these software. Similarly, now also these task specific or domain specific tools that are now available, and will be a sea of such tools will be available in near future. That is what I am projecting, that very soon we will see a domain specific lots of tools coming out. So it will become very important for all professions who want to use AI tools to learn the tools, how to use it for my trade. So if somebody is coming for automated testing, how to use that particular tool, AI tool. For example, today only I was mentoring one of the students who come to my training, and he wants to jump from the manual testing to the automated testing using AI, and there are layoffs are happening in his company, so he is worried that how to transition. So he asked for mentoring, and I was guiding him, and I suggested a couple of tools that are becoming very prominent in this space of automated testing. I also suggested him that look at the language that is enabling the AI ecosystem to flourish. What are those languages? Any tools that the companies are building for automated testing or for data analytics, for dashboards, for machine learning, for databases, they will keep the interface for that programming language available because of one simple reason, that in every field of computational science, every field where the computers are used, AI is entering. If AI is entering, then AI, the language, programming language that helps you explore or extend the AI related work, those interfaces will be provided by those tools and the library providers, the framework providers. So it becomes important that you master that language. You master the tools of your trade. There is no rocket science that AI expects from us. It only demands continuous education, continuous learning mindset, ability to speak clearly, break the long problem statements into smaller, stack them in the right order so that you ask, so that the AI tool can give you the answer not all at one go but in chunks, So building over the basics and then gradually building over your solution. So these are some of the basic skills that I think are going to be very essential whoever is using AI tools.
Vinay, can you name some tools? Like you mentioned about skills, but is there any particular tool which you like to
Yes,
recommend?
for example, there is a schemathesis. One tool is there that can be very useful for testing purpose. It has the ability to do your REST API testing. You can just simply give your Swagger doc and it will do that. There are also Selenium based tools are also coming up which do the basically your web related automated testing. There are also mobile frameworks for the mobile. I would also suggest that not just these tools, but not just tools for the automated testing, but tools for coding. For example, there is a tabnine which does a fantastic auto completion. You are writing the code and it will predict that what should be the next code. So it will give you. There is also GitHub Copilot which can actually write the entire function, not just the auto completion, but entire function. There is a one more tool that I was using very recently, and it has actually become very popular. It's called Cursor. Cursor is something that I would suggest that all developed programmers, whoever is entering into programming or who is doing programming, should try it out. Cursor is also very suitable for writing the code. It can basically look at your entire workspace, all the code files that you have, and can suggest you the code. Can write the new functionalities. There are challenges. Obviously, there are challenges when you are working on large project. But these are some of the tools that I recommend that those who are entering into programming or doing programming day in day out should definitely learn these tools. Tabnine, GitHub Copilot, Cursor. Yeah.
Fine. Thank you, Vinay. I think many programmers would have taken note of it. That was very useful. We have a little tight timeline, and I believe Prasanna has something to follow up. So I'll quickly come, but I'll go to Ratnesh first and then come to Professor Prabhanjan. Ratnesh, you might be looking at many people who are working at your company or providing solutions. What are the most prominent gaps you find when you are getting people to work for your solutions, which you wish that the educational institutions should look into training their students that these gaps can be minimized and they are more work ready to be absorbed in the industry?
So one thing clearly stands out is that with all these tools being available, many of the newcomers are coming up with the mindset that if I'm given the problem, I'll just go to ChatGPT and look for the answer. And that's where the things starts becoming complicated because as Vinay and Prasanna said, like you have to iteratively go through the solution provided by ChatGPT and get to the place where you really want it. And it is that in the beginning, it is you don't have that knack in the beginning to start writing a very crisp prompt. And unless you have the crisp prompt, the answers won't come right. So take it for granted attitude with all these AI tools is something that needs to be feared, I would say. That AI is, again, to emphasize that AI is doing the coder part, where if you have a problem and you have the pseudocode ready, then you can ask it to write the right syntax as per the language. Even then, you have to go and verify. So that is one gap that we see as like the mindset. The second thing is that now nowadays it becomes like difficult for individual to decide which language to focus on. There are so many languages out there, and they come up with one language, and like when we have a requirement, it is in some particular language, and then they are not able to digest that they were expert in one language, and suddenly if they were thrown work in the language, then they can't do it. So because the focus on fundamental is shifting a bit, that is the root cause of this. Because I think once you have the focus on fundamentals, the shift becomes easier from one language to another. So that is there. Then again, the third thing is that, like, with all these AI tools, we are also expecting people to be a bit faster, and we are also to be blamed for that. That we expect that they start delivering code in uh, near real time, because some other a programmer in the same team is able to do that, and not everybody is the same. So it happens that, like, there are ones who are able to use these AI tools very efficiently, along with their own ability on of problem solving, critical thinkings, and like architectural like an architectural understanding. And there are others who just think that as an entry level engineer, they are just supposed to be told what to do, and they will just do that, and that becomes really challenging. We are no longer able to give them that much time to uh,
Right. Right.
start from that entry level place. And so I think that has to be built into education a bit. Like, so along with basic fundamental skills, they should also be taught, or they should get some certification or training on these AI tools, so that they can be industry ready from that perspective.
Right. I think 3 points what you highlighted. I'll just give a crisp. One is right attitude. There is no substitute for expertise. You may have some general knowledge and some IQ, but it doesn't solve all the problems. That one must understand. Second one is knowing languages, as you told. Here, would you like to mention any particular language which you think comes more often?
I think the, like, Python is one which is becoming very, very like fluent, because more and more AI use is there. So I would like to call that some expertise on Python is really helpful nowadays.
So Python is one. And then, of course, apt use of AI tools so that you can increase your speed and make use of positive use of AI for yourself. I think that was a very crisp, and it drove the point nicely. Let me go to Professor Prabhanjan, and then I come to Prasanna. Prabhanjan, sir, you have been, you know, mentoring now about, you are already leading six people who are doing their PhD, right, research. So what are some of the most promising areas of research in AI and machine learning, which you think people should consider taking into?
Yeah. Now most of the people are working in Gen AI. Then now they started working in experimental AI. Then precision agriculture. Then healthcare. Okay, these are main prominent areas. Most of the academicians they're working on these areas. Okay, because a lot of scope is available in all these areas. As you know that India is a agriculture country. Therefore, here a lot of things they can able to do it. That's what most of the people are working in these areas.
Right, sir. Sir, I just have a follow-up question, and this I think others also can answer. We'll just keep our answers a bit crisp so that we can probably address some more questions. I also see a question from one from the audience, Akshay. So, one is recently we saw China suddenly came up with this their AI, and suddenly it was like a shock. And we saw there was, as if the US people were not able to digest it that this can happen. And India is still, as Ramakant also told, that India is still lagging behind in the AI race. So, is there any such possibility you see that India also can take up? Did China deploy some new strategy, something that with so much low cost they were able to come and compete directly with ChatGPT and likes of that? So here it's an open question. I would like first Dr. Prabhanjan, and then anyone would like to take it.
That's
Please keep
what.
your answers crisp.
Yeah. That's what recently Prime Minister of India told. This 25 should be an AI era, so that most of the people can develop AI. Okay, what China are they are developed, so that India should also become one of them. That's what our AACT also they are planning for all this.
Anybody else would like to add to what's I told?
I think China took I recently read a analysis from a very prominent person who basically writes in international newspapers, has been writing for last several decades. So one of the things that he mentioned, that what China has done differently, his comparison was China and many other Western countries, including India was also there when it comes to areas. And they said that China started building its academics, the way of thinking, the infrastructure, especially the hardware part, their factories, etc., with a long-term strategy. And in fact, they spent nearly 20 years to get to the result and get the results what they are getting now. So they invested nearly 20 years of time in the research, funding, providing a lot of research funding to the institutions, and promoting the hardware development, establishing the factories. That was the I think that is where China has done differently from many other countries. In case of India, I would say that we are also going in the right direction, but it takes a bit longer time and proper funding to promote these things for a longer duration. Results don't come, especially when these high tech things. Results don't come in 5, 6, or 7 years, 8 years of time. There is a long period required, gestation period required. A lot of failures happen, and freedom to do innovation and cultivate. I think this Atal Tinkering Lab, I see that in after a decade, if we revisit this particular effort, I think we will see that a lot of new talent has come up from India. Because of their early age, they were able to develop that creativity and curiosity. So this is my take on this.
Fine. So basically, more resources and little bit change in the approach to explore and use creativity. Thank you for that. Prasanna, coming to you, uh, regarding this AI, what kind of opportunities do you see in your area? And also, if you'd like to comment about something which Vinay has mentioned in a different way, these AI agents are like how useful they are for the businesses and also from the point of view of programmers developing AI agents.
Yeah, as we mentioned, right? So they can become more and more refined and it can give more and more hook. For example, if we take in terms of cooking, right? So it can provide beautiful and more detailed, the recipe book, right? Or it can customize, or it can over a period of time, it can train, and it can provide. But actually, when it comes to the cooking, so the skill has to be there with the chef, you know, who is doing the cooking, right? So similar to that, so the AI can actually definitely help us to bring all the recipes, or it can do all the laborious jobs and all. But when it comes to what has to mix in what proportion, and everything has to come with the knowledge and the experience they have, one who is using the AI. So, but definitely, AI is making an impact in terms of, as I told earlier, it will give different perceptions, because sometimes what happens is that in terms of usage, so we might stick with, one or two options of way of coding, right? So, but AI gives you in a different aspects of, how this can be coded in n number of ways, right? So
Hmm.
that time we get a choice of choosing a better one, approach wise, I'm saying. But still we have to
Yes.
take care of intricacies of, how it will fit within the whole programming or whole product as such. So that and all we need to take care, but it will definitely give different perceptions for a given job what we are trying to do it. And
Hmm. So
also,
you
as
what you
Ratnesh mentioned,
uh, I'm
yeah,
sorry to cut you in the middle. What you're basically suggesting is it gives you different angles of looking at the same thing, which you may have a blind spot and you may miss it. So it's giving you a perspective that you look at this and different angle, and there are different approaches. And one should
correct,
know how to utilize AI for understanding those new approaches. Is that what you are trying to convey?
correct. So it gives a different perception. So then we can choose, we can refine our solution based on that. And at this point of time, I would say that, it is doing small tasks. Okay. So later when it starts doing bigger tasks, so then the debugging becomes another huge task. So for that, we need to be ready. Okay. So that's another angle we need to look at it. And the other
That's
topic
the
which we were
technical debt.
yeah. So the other topic which we were discussing about, the AI in India growing and all. So it's again what we are all, discussing is about the training the models, right? So, but we should also look at it, how do we build the models and what are all the framework required, right? And what are all the resources required for that? So the funding required for that and for the innovations of building our own AI from processing to building the model, right? So that's what China did for so many years and US did for so many years. So we should also start from scratch. And for that, I think Prabhanjan sir and Ramakant sir can add, more insights into that, what innovations are happening in those areas. But definitely there are two, aspects to it, right? Developing it from the scratch, the AI things, and the other part is that training the models which we already have. So
Right.
those
So
two
basically, take
aspects
a
we have to see.
comprehensive
Yeah,
approach.
correct.
Right. Right. Thank you, Prasanna. How I wish we had more time. There were a lot of questions, and we already feel that a lot of area is unexplored. But I would like to now cut it short and go to the questions. I see Akshay Kumar, one of our audience member, has posted a question, and his. I will just try to read his question, and I'll open it for anyone to answer it. The question is: I would like to point out that just when the LLMs have matured a bit, people are moving to the AI agents. GitHub Copilot is, if given a context, generates an entire code. In normal practice, organizations do not have a complex rocket science business logic. How how is it not replacement for an entry level engineer? So he is kind of contesting the point. Yes, Ratnesh, you can unmute.
Yeah, I think very good question, indeed, because AI, as it matures slowly, it will start becoming more and more intelligent. It will start making less and less mistakes. But I think investment in an entry level engineer is a strategic uh, point of view for the industry as well, because there is no way to get an expert engineer unless you have some entry level engineers, and that is where we also open our companies for interns to come and experience the product, because you want to give the next batch or next set of engineers the ability to become the pro engineers for the future. So I think one thing is that it is quite strategic to be in the first place, because we can't just wipe out all the entry level engineers and expect that 10 years down the line we will have all the expert engineers without going through that experience. And second thing is that, like, all this will also change the way these entry level engineers write code. Earlier, you were expected to write in a notepad with no auto completion, nothing was there. Now you're writing with something that is giving you full functions, and also to the next step where it may write low code, no code platforms are all already there, where you don't need to understand C or Java or Python, and you can build the entire application by just working on the logic. That is because things like memory management is no longer required now, because the high level languages are taking care of that. Similarly, there will be areas which it will improve on, but I'm sure the engineers will pick up, and slowly will start the whole system fitting into the AI. Will also become just a tool
Well,
alongside our uh,
very pertinent. I think
tool.
that was quite well answered. I would like to read what Sanjay Saini, he's present here. His video is also on, and I see when you were mentioning about pre-Google days, I could see the expression. He could almost feel nostalgic that how we used to write code. And Sanjay has put here something very nicely. I would just like to read for benefit of everyone. He has like quite a poetic presentation of I think a lot of things what we have discussed. So his first point is AI may take the coder's job, but not the coding mindset. Second point, AI may take the analyst's job, but not the analytical mindset. Third, AI may take the engineer's job, but not the engineering mindset. And fourth, AI may take the doctor's job, but not the diagnostic mindset. So that was well put. And then again, he has given one more thing. The definition of entry level engineers has changed over a period of time. So that I think sums it well. Thank you, Sanjay, for that. Yes, sir. You wanted to say something. Uh, Dr. Prabhanjan, would you like to add something? I just felt
No, no,
you want
whatever
to
is
say.
said, that's correct. Whatever is said, now the entry level engineers, what earlier days, example, 4 years back, that was a different mindset. Now entirely different mindset. Okay. Mainly now they have to concentrate on problem solving and how they can use AI tools. That's the main thing what they have to look now.
Yes. I have one question from Mr. George, and this is for Vinay. I think it has been answered, but I'd just like to, if you could just take a quick take on this. In the era of AI tools and bots, if I have to create an app, why do I need to learn programming to level of proficiency when I'm good, when a good LLM prompting technique can do that? This has, although this has been answered in a way, but if you'd like to add something to it very crisply.
Yeah. This question often comes in our classroom also, and several forums also I have read. See, no matter how good prompt you write to a AI tool, the code that it is giving you needs to be trusted. Number one. Number two, there is a concept called context, length of the context a AI model can have. For example, ChatGPT and Cloud and all of these copilot, they have a context length in which they keep all the things that you have told to it. All right, your code files, the instructions that you have given, your database files, your configurations, everything comes under that context. It has a limit. According to that context only, it gives you the answer. Okay, now what happens when you start giving the prompt? You want to build a chatbot. Chatbot is not like 10 lines of code that will make the magic. That won't create magic. It has so many third-party integrations and database integrations and tool-specific things. A lot of things are there. Okay. Now, when you start writing the prompt, you will see that for 5, 6, 7 times it is giving you the code, and then you are able to read it and you are arranging it. Fine. After some time, it will start hallucinating. It will start using the library. It will start using the functions which are actually not implemented in the third-party library that you are using. Okay, it has happened so many times with me that it starts calling the function names which even don't exist. Prompt, no matter how well you are writing the prompt, it has a certain limitation. Recently, I was looking at somebody was giving the verbal instructions to the cursor tool. Cursor is used for coding purpose. It's an AI tool, and he was giving the instruction verbally that write a React-based code to create a web page, and then so many modifications. Do something on the left and do something on the right, and make changes this way and that way, and then after some time, it just came to my mind. I stopped the video because I thought that this is not relevant anymore with some communication through voice. I got this idea in the mind that context is relevant for the AI model. Context is also relevant for me. When I am giving instructions, I will start forgetting that what I said 10 instructions back, what was the instruction that was given. All right, human also have limitations of remembering that unless everything is very well documented, very well structured, and then line by line you are dictating the things. Until you do that, the problem will come to humans also, that now what to write. It is hallucinating what to ask for. You will have to start again from scratch. So building bots is not, in fact, building any really useful software is not that easy, and it is going to be a fight between the new. I think there should be a new human interfaces that should be created to communicate with the AI tools. Maybe they may appear in next few years, which can take away these lot of context issues. So this is my take, that despite knowing the good prompting, software development is not just communicating with the tool. There are a lot of things that that are.
One thing I would like to add to what like Vinay said. Like, so this context really is a big challenge as of today. But as things evolve, maybe there will be a time when we are able to fit very large context into the AI model and get the answers, and then the problem of hallucination will reduce. And we have to really wait and see like when the time comes when it surpasses human uh, abilities. But yeah, as of now, it's a long time.
I also assume it because it's more of a quantitative, it's a challenge of capacity rather than a really problem of
See,
qualitative.
there is a one fundamental limit of that even after 50-60 years of digital systems are created, we still see that still today also that exists. For example, the floating point unit, it has a limit. If I do 0.1 plus 0.2, it is not equal to 0.3 in computers. Even now, 50 years earlier also it was not equal to 0.3. Today also 0.1 plus 0.2 is not 0.3. Just because the floating point accuracy, the precision that you have, the limitation on the hardware that exists today also. So even the context length, let the context length be increasing, but the software demand for the software will also will become complex. So this is a race kind of, and as earlier, I have given so many examples that how I give one again very simple example. Suppose I don't want to expose certain variables while writing the code, because those variables I think that should not be used by the third party software developer or somebody who is integrating. But unless and until I tell that specification very clearly, AI tool will never create any such variables and functions which should not be exposed. It will expose every interface that you are writing, which is a bad software practice.
Right. So this is, in fact, this is a new kind of challenge which we wish we had more time to discuss. The challenge of maintaining secrecy and wherever it is required, even the security of the entire code and system, that becomes another challenge. I wish we had more time for it. So now it is time to wrap it up. I would invite all the panelists to give their crisp closing remarks, and maybe I would request Vinay to have more such sessions. I'm sure we have derived a lot of value. And I would also give a lot of credit to our audience who will stick here, even though we were not able to take many of their questions. But I'm sure they would find some value. So let's start with closing remarks. I will request first Professor Sir, Dr. Prabhanjan, for his closing remarks, and then we'll go in the order.
You are on mute, sir.
Yeah, means AI will not replace programming. That is what my conclusion. Because AI will just, we are going to use as a tool. But only thing is we have to make the student to work on multidisciplinary approach and how to get a solution for this. If they know all this, then can use AI as a tool. That's the main thing what I want to say.
Thank you so much. And I'm sure this would be very encouraging for a lot of people. They would have got some solace. Let's hear from Ratnesh. Ratnesh.
Yeah, I think my last two sentence will be that it is like future of programming is not about just writing code. It's about building intelligent systems. And like this discussion on programming, like it may be at some point of time, programming, as we say, it will change, but we have to wait a lot for that. And in the meanwhile, like we have to really understand AI, work with it, and know when to apply human expertise and when to use AI and depend on it. So that decision making, like creativity, system thinking, all these will what differentiate us from like AI systems.
Thank you again. Some, I think, good takeaways and good words of wisdom. Let's hear from Prasanna.
Yeah, so I would say that because our programming way has changed because we started using Google as a reference, right? So when we started programming, similar way, we should start using the AI. So because AI is inevitable, as Ramakant sir said and Prabhanjan sir has mentioned it, and even Ratnesh sir has told that, it is inevitable. We have to use it. Okay. And at the same time, we have to be cautious and we have to be responsible to learn and use it as a tool instead of completely relying on it. Definitely, we have to use the tools to speed up our work. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Ramakantji, what would be your closing remarks?
Okay, my closing remark will be that artificial intelligence is learning from human intelligence. So there should be some balancing approach, and one should use these tools to assist, not depend on that fully. That what is the outcome of this whole discussion, that one should not be dependent on that. You have to create your own thinking abilities. Thank you.
Human intelligence supersedes, and we have to keep maintaining that. I see one request from Satish, and Satish, I'm so sorry I couldn't take your question. I have your question. Vinay, if you could quickly address Satish's question, I'm just reading it out. His question was, I have around 10 plus years of experience in testing. How can I upscale to AI domain and change my career to Python AI? Can you give a roadmap? Quickly.
I think we already covered this particular question as part of when I was telling about the tools. So programming, at least for next 5 to 7 years, I see that's the near term. I see that programming is not going away. The way that we think programming is not going away, there would be evolution that's possible. Then looking at that where the AI is touching, wherever whichever tools, whichever libraries it is touching, those libraries and tools, when they give the extensions, ability to extend, and they open up their APIs, we need a way to communicate that. So we need a language. So language mastery is going to be must. Even if you
should he switch to Python? Should he switch to Python? What would you say?
Yes, I would suggest that switching to Python would be very valuable. Everything is going AI way, so switching to Python would be very valuable.
Fine. So thank you so much, everyone. We have come at the close of it. I will apologize for delaying it for about almost 20 minutes, but I'm sure it was a very enriching experience. I thank everyone, Dr. Prabhanjan ji, Ratnesh ji, Prasanna, thank you for staying despite you having another engagement. Thank you so much. And Ramakant sir, thank you so much for your presence, sir, and giving this time. Vinay, thank you for organizing.
Thank you.
Everyone in the audience, you would like to give a follow to all our distinguished guests on LinkedIn, and you can also explore more such events with Acharya.ai. Thank you so much once again. I am Dr. Vivek Modi, and we close the session here. We are signing off. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.